Hi guys, so my dad recently got back from working in Europe, and for part of his trip he was in Italy, and he brought me back not just one but two Italian baby name books. They're both completely in Italian, so I had a lot of fun trying to read the Italian and make a video for you guys, but I managed. The first one is called Il messaggio razioso di nome, which I believe means the message in the name. And the second one is this cute little pocket-sized one that's called Il libro di nome per lui e per lei, so book of names for him and for her. So I went through them and chose some of my favorites. I believe most of the names on my list are Italian in their origin, but there are some Latin names as well, just because they do use lots of Latin names in Italy, I believe. And I also tried to choose ones that would be usable in English-speaking countries, just because there are so many Italian names that are very grand, and I'm not sure how well they would go over in English-speaking countries like the US and Canada, especially for boys. But these are some of my favorites, and I'm going to start with the girls, and the first one I have is Ariana. And Ariana is the Italian form of the Greek name Ariadne, and it means very holy, and I think that Ariana is so beautiful sounding. I think it almost sounds musical, Ariana. Then I have Augusta, and Augusta means the exalted one, and I love the name August for boys, and I think this is a very cool feminine form of that name. Then I have Aurelia, and Aurelia is a Latin name that means golden, and I love the meaning and I love the sound, and I think this is a very cool alternative to the name Amelia, since Amelia is getting to be so popular and Aurelia has a similar sound. Then I have Bianca, and Bianca means white, and it's sort of the Italian equivalent to the French name Blanche. And I think that Bianca is very cool because it's usable. People recognize it. Mick Jagger's daughter is named Bianca, but it still has that exotic sort of feel to it. Then I have Carlotta, and Carlotta means free. It's the Italian form of the name Charlotte. And I love that you could use the nickname Lottie. I think that would be so, so cute. The next one I have is Carmen, and I think this is the only one on my girls list that doesn't end in A. And Carmen comes from Latin and it means poem, and I love this name because of the opera Carmen, which is probably my favorite opera and probably one of the reasons why I love this name. Then I have Evelina, and Evelina is a form of the name Evelyn, and when my parents were expecting my little brother, they didn't know if he was a boy or a girl, and they couldn't really come to a decision on a girl's name that they both liked. So this was their compromise name, since my grandma's name is Evelyn. And I definitely think this one is usable now that Evelyn is coming back into style. Then I have Narina, and I just discovered Narina reading these books, and I am so in love with this name. I think it's so beautiful without being too grand, and it means sea nymph, which is a very cool meaning, and it's similar to the name Nerissa, but I think I like it a little bit better. Then I have Renata, and Renata has been on my favorites list for a long time. It means reborn. Then I have Santina, and I put this name on here because I know a cute little old Italian lady named Santina, and Santina means little saint. And the last one I have for girls is kind of grand, but I love it anyways, and that is Speranza, and Speranza means hope. So for the boys, the first name that I have is Alfonso, and Alfonso means noble and ready, and I think this is just a very, very handsome name, but you could use the cute nicknames Al or Alfie. Then I have Amadeo, and I think music lovers might like this name because Mozart's middle name was Amadeus, and this is the Italian form of that name. And I think I like Amadeo a little bit better than Amadeus just because of the O ending that is so common in Italian boys' names. And Amadeo means lover of God. The next one I have doesn't end in an O, and that is Dante. And Dante means everlasting, and I just think it's such a handsome sounding name, and it's the name of the famous Italian poet Dante. Then I have Enzo, and I think this is such a cool name. It's actually a form of the name Harry, but it's also a diminutive of names that end in Enzo, like Lorenzo, or Vincenzo, or Fiorenzo, or Innocenzo, which are some grander Italian boys' names that I'm not sure would go over so well here, but Enzo is so cool. I think that this would definitely be a usable name in English-speaking countries. Then I have Fabio, and Fabio means bean grower. It's the Italian form of the name Fabian, and apparently there's a famous Italian model named Fabio, so that's not a bad association. The next one I have is Luca, and I know a lot of people think this name sounds feminine since it ends in an A, but I actually really like it. And Luca means person from Luciana. Then I have Marco, and Marco means warlike or dedicated to the god Mars, and I think this name sounds so modern, so cool. I like it a lot more than Mark and Marcus. Then I have Renzo, which is very similar to Enzo. It's also a diminutive of names that end in Renzo. And I would love to meet a little boy named Renzo. This one is definitely one of my favorites on the list. And the last two that I have are both celebrity baby names. The first one is Rocco, and Rocco means rest, and Rocco is the name of Guy Ritchie and Madonna's son, Rocco Ritchie. And the last name I have is Romeo, and Romeo is of course the hero from the famous Shakespearean play Romeo and Juliet, and it's also the name of Victoria and David Beckham's son. I don't really like it just because of the bad association with the tragic character in Romeo and Juliet, but I think that it does have a very cool sound, and that if the Shakespearean association doesn't bother you, then it is a very cool name. It means pilgrim to Rome. So those are some of my favorite names from these books. Let me know what your favorite Italian names are. And my dad brought me back some other European baby name books, so I will be making videos on those books, or videos based around those books. So keep an eye out for those, and thanks so much for watching, guys. I will talk to you later.